Hello, welcome to NTI Day 15, and here we are in our quadrilaterals flip book. I want to look here at the quadrilateral family tree section. Open this up and it is completely blank. So I'm going to start up at the very top. And we're going to draw just a generic quadrilateral. 4 sides, all different lengths, none of them parallel. Generic quadrilateral. Okay, so generic quadrilateral, we have 4 sides. It's a closed figure with 4 sides. All 3 angles add to equal 360. That's all we've got there. And then we have been looking at the branch of parallelograms. Shouldn't have used that color. I want my parallelogram and my branch to be a different color. So parallelograms, it is a quadrilateral, so it has 4 sides. Whoa, should not be wavy, should be segments. Okay, all 4 sides are, opposite sides are parallel. 2 pair of opposite sides parallel. So we've been functioning in this parallelogram branch. And under parallelograms, we have looked at rectangles. A rectangle is a parallelogram with 4 right angles. In addition to having 4 right angles and all 5 properties of the parallelogram, a rectangle has diagonals that are congruent. And then we looked at the rhombus. The rhombus is a parallelogram in which all 4 sides are congruent. In addition to being a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides, it has special properties that diagonals are perpendicular and diagonals bisect opposite angles. Now, these 2 got together and made baby square. Baby square has all of the characteristics of everybody that came before it. It is a quadrilateral, has 4 sides, all its angles add up to 360. It is a parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are congruent, opposite angles are congruent, consecutive angles are supplementary, diagonals bisect each other. All 4 angles are right angles. Let's mark that. All 4 sides are congruent. Diagonals bisect each other. diagonals are congruent, diagonals are perpendicular, and the diagonals bisect opposite angles. Okay, there is a lot going on in the square. Okay, notice we've got a whole section of our family tree over here to discover. We've just been operating on the parallelogram branch of the quadrilateral family tree. Okay, so that is that branch. So in your flip book, turn to squares. Okay, so a square is a parallelogram with 4 right angles and 4 congruent sides. So opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are parallel. It is a parallelogram. Opposite sides are congruent. In fact, we have 4 congruent sides. All 4 sides are congruent. Opposite angles are congruent. In fact, we have 4 congruent angles. Consecutive angles are supplementary. Remember, add to equal 180. 90 plus 90 is 180. Diagonals bisect each other. Okay, these diagonals bisect each other. Also, the diagonals are congruent. So that means this is congruent to this. They bisect each other, but because they're congruent, these are also congruent. Okay? And the diagonals are perpendicular. So we have right angles here. Does not look so much like that in this picture. So notice these are right triangles. The legs are congruent. These are isosceles right triangles. Isosceles right triangles there. The diagonals bisect opposite angles. Okay, if we bisect 90 degrees, 90 divided by 2 is 45 degrees. all of these are 45 degrees. We're only going to have two different angle measures in our square. It's either going to be 90 or 45. That's all that's possible. Okay, 90 or 45 degrees. Okay, let's look at our examples. Okay, example 1. The measure of angle AED. AED. Diagonals are perpendicular, so that is equal to 90. So we've got 5x plus 5 equals 90. Subtract 5. 5x equals 85. Divide by 5. X equals 5 only goes into 8 one time. We're going to have a remainder of 3, 35. 5 times 7 is 35, so that's 17. Find x, x equals 17. Is that right? 85 divided by 5. Yep, did it right. Okay. Measure of angle BAC. BAC. That's 45 degrees. BAC. So we've got 5x equals 45 divided by 5. X equals 9. Square problems can never be very hard. Just not possible. Okay. If MH, where's MH? MH is 8. Find the length of AH. AH. Okay. If this is 8, all my sides are congruent. This has got to be 8. This is a right angle. I have to do Pythagorean theorem. So 8 squared plus 8 squared equals x squared. So on my calculator, hopefully there's not a glare there. I've got 8 squared plus 8 squared, 128, and I've got to take the square root of that. I want to round to one decimal place, so 11.3. So this is 128 equals x squared, square root both sides, and that's going to give me 11.3 is approximately x. Okay. MS is 3. AS is 3. They didn't really have to tell me that, did they? Find the perimeter of the square. Math. Mathematicians are so funny, aren't they? This is a right angle. I'm finding my hypotenuse. 3 squared plus 3 squared. Because if I'm going to find my perimeter, I have to know my side lengths. Skipped over that, didn't I? Equals x squared. So, this one I can do in my head. 3 squared is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. Well, I can do that part in my head. But what is the square root of 18? That, not so much. So, square root of 18 is 4.2. 4 is less than 5, 4.2 is approximately x. Okay, are we good there? Hopefully so. Okay, and I got to end because my battery is dying. Hope you guys are doing great. And just get this down. And you don't have to send it to me. You can just mark it. A lot of people are just marking it as done. That's awesome. That way I know you're there, you're doing it. So that works out great. So when I sign it, you can just mark it as done. That's super awesome because I know you're there, I know you're doing it. Take care, guys. Hope you're all doing well.